One of the hardest parts of being an entrepreneur or a business owner is feeling overwhelmed and not knowing what you should be working on, feeling busy, feeling distracted. How do I get stuff done? How do I feel less stressed? Well, in this episode, I'm going to be breaking down a 3-step formula that has helped me, and hopefully it can help you. So if that sounds interesting, stick around because that's what we're going to cover in this episode. Hey, before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Also, if you're on YouTube, make sure that you click the little bell icon so you get notified when I go live with a new video. Well, hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Amazing Seller Podcast. This is episode number 818. Wow, I can't believe I'm saying that. That's a lot of episodes, but it's been a blast. And today, I want to share with you something that has helped me, something that I've shared a couple of different times. I share it actually every single Monday inside of Brand Creators Academy with all of my members, but also I shared this on a recent coffee talk with Scott, with me. If you haven't heard, I've been doing these now every single morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you're interested in joining me for these conversations, these, somewhat of coffee hangouts in the morning, you can by just heading over to theamazingseller.com/coffee. And what we do there is we talk about stuff like this. We also talk about some business stuff, of course, but we talk about the mindset. We talk about being more productive in your everyday life, how to get more done, how to feel less stressed. And today, that's what I'm going to be doing here, is giving you exactly what I follow every single week. Now, I want you to ask yourself this, okay? Are you right now feeling like you just don't know where to point your attention, right? There's so many different things that you can do, but what is the right thing? We all want validation, right? We want to know that we're going to get a result at the other end if we put in the time and the energy. And I get it. I feel the same thing at times. But once we can really take inventory on what is important to us, but also what we're working on, and then break that down and then dissect it, it becomes really easy, because then when we sit down, we're going to be very, very productive. All right. So with that all being said, let's just dig in. What do you say? All right. So number one, okay, of this 3-step formula is, like I said, take an hour every single week to take inventory on what it is you're trying to achieve. All right, let me say that one more time. Take 1 hour of your week to sit down and take inventory of everything that you are processing in your brain. Have you ever woke up in the middle of the night and then immediately you shift your attention to a problem or something that you don't want to forget? That's because you don't really know if you're going to remember it, and you want to keep bringing that thought up and keep playing that, so this way here, you don't forget. It's very common. And one way to get rid of that is to offload it, to really take your thoughts and dump them and get them off of your hard drive, because that right there can be so helpful. But what we want to do here is we want to dedicate 1 hour. Now, I do suggest, and this is what I do, I either do it on Sunday night before Monday, or I do it Monday morning as my first task. All right, so what I would like you to do is think to yourself, when can you commit to having an hour, 1 hour, where you do this process? And I'm going to walk through the other parts of this process, but what I want you to do is figure out what is going to be the best day for you. And I would prefer you to do it by the beginning of the week. So Sunday could be a time to do it. Sunday night, maybe after the kids go to bed, or when you have a little bit of free time, 1 hour. Or you can do it Monday morning, or Monday when you give yourself that time to work on your business, okay? So that's what I would say. Make sure that you give yourself that hour. So for me, it's either Sunday night or Monday morning. That is the first task, okay? So now number 2, once we do this process, we're going to be dumping everything, every thought that we have going through our brain that we are trying to process, that we have to get done, that we want to get done, or even things that we don't want to forget because they're personal things. We can write them down too. You want to write every single thing that you have that's going through your mind right now, okay? And what I do, if you can envision a notebook, okay? Take a notebook. That's what I have, just a simple $1 notebook. And I write down on the right-hand side, I list all of the things, not in importance at this point, just all of the things that I'm processing in my brain of things that I have to get done, that I want to get done. Now, these can be projects. These could be like daily tasks, weekly tasks. These could be meetings. It could be whatever. You want to take inventory and put those all on that list. So what I do is I bring them all the way to the right. I draw probably about a 1-inch, maybe a 2-inch box on the right-hand side, but vertically all the way down the page. And then I just start writing down. I just start listing out all the things. And like I said, some are going to be projects. Some are going to be every week things, right? So for me, I have to record this podcast. Here I am recording this podcast. This was on my list of things I had to do this week. Every week, I need to record podcast episodes. So that's down, right? That's written down. Now, another thing that's down on my list is I need to outline what my podcasts are going to be about. Okay, so that's another thing that I have to do. Now I have to do that before I can actually record. We'll talk about that here in a minute on how I organize those thoughts, but that's another step in that process, right? And that's also a repeating thing, okay? Now there could be a project that could be like, okay, we're gonna be adding a new training inside of Brand Creators Academy. It's going to require me to shoot 6 videos. I need to dedicate the time to shoot those videos. Once those are done, the project, check, is done. Now there's going to be another part of that process, which is going to be need to upload the videos into our members area, right? That's another part of the process, but can't do that until the videos are shot, right? But it's still going through my head as something to do, okay? So take all of that stuff and write it down. I'm telling you, it's going to be freeing just to do that alone, all right? So definitely make sure that you do that. Okay, so in this process, when we're going through that, that's actually step number 1, right? Like what I just said, that's one step in this process. Number 2 is going to be choosing your big 3. I call these your big 3, that no matter what, you are going to get done. You're going to get them done. Nothing is going to get in your way. All right. So like right now, having these 3 episodes recorded by Wednesday, so that way they're ready for the following week, that has to get done. So that means that I need to prioritize my tasks, my projects, so this way these get done. All right. And so you need to also ask yourself, what are the things that have to get done? For you, it might be like, okay, I need to build my website because in order to create content and put that on the website, I need the website, right? So the project, the one big project is building the website. Now we can break that down into individual chunks. And so then when we go into, which is going to be in step 3 here in a minute, then we can start to plan where they fit in. And then you're going to see everything just seems to tie together. But the cool thing about this is it relieves any stress that you have because you're not worrying, are you forgetting something? Is it everything I'm supposed to be working on? And then when you sit down, you know that what you're working on is what you're supposed to be working on, right? You're being intentional. All right. So that is number 2, is picking those big 3. Now here's a little side note. Those big 3, they will probably get done maybe midway through the week. And that's great. But now what you can do is you can start pulling from your bucket and start bringing them over and saying, okay, I'm going to do a 4th and a 5th and a 6th. Okay. And then this way here, you have that stuff as your additional projects or your additional things that you are going to get done. You'll get bonus credit with yourself. All right. Give yourself another pat on the back and say, hey, good job. You got more than your big 3. But always think about your big 3, because whenever we think about a long list, we think, oh my gosh, I got to check off a lot of different things there. But if you think about the big 3 at the end of the week, you'll probably get those done and then some, and that'll feel good. And there's something up here in the mind that feels good about that, makes you feel as though you did a good job for the week. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need to give ourselves some credit. All right. But have you ever felt like you have all these things and then at the end of the week, you feel like, what did I do? Did I actually get anything done? Did I actually move the needle? Or did I just do a ton of research and nothing really came of it? I know I have felt that way before. And so when I do this, I know that there are some times that part of that block is going to be doing research, but that's also preparing me for when I actually do another task that is related to the research. All right. So it's not unnormal to feel like that if you do, but hopefully this is going to help you. And I would suggest you take these 3 steps and use them. Give it a try for a week. Let me know what you think. I would love to know. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can drop it in the comments. If not, you can head over to theamazingseller.com/ask and just leave a voicemail there. That's where you can leave a question or you can just leave a voice memo. I would love for that. Okay, so moving on to number 3, and that is we need to now take our inventory, our big 3, and now we got to plug it into our week. So now, again, imagine this. You take your notepad, and then you have your right-hand side. You have all of your things that are cycling through your brain, all of the things you want to get done, all the things you have to get done. And then you take those, you bring them over to a smaller box, and you write big 3. And then you write those in the priority of importance, okay? Now, I'm going to go over and start creating little square boxes, and I'm going to label these Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And now if you want, you can add Saturday and Sunday. What I usually do is leave them open, and they're optional. I don't have to do something on Saturday and Sunday, okay? Now, if you're building your business and you aren't fortunate yet to be doing this full time, then you may need to use an hour or 2 on the weekend. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've done that for years. I've even done it where I work, late at night while my kids were in bed or up early in the morning. So there's ways that you can do it. Right now, I try to make it where Saturday and Sunday, I don't have to do things, but a lot of times I will do something for an hour or 2 just because I want to, and it's something that I'm working on. All right, so those are optional. But then, so Monday, you would write number 1, okay? Now, this is going to be in your time block. So let's say that you do work a full-time job, and you're like, okay, for the first hour of the day before I actually go to work, this is what I'm going to work on. I'm going to get this one thing done. But see, now what you're doing is you're pulling from your list of things that you want to get done, and you're looking at your big 3, and you're like, okay, what has to get done in order to get to the big 3? You may have to do that research. That 1 hour is going to be in the research. Or let's rewind a minute. Let's say, for example, you don't do your planning on Sunday. Monday morning, your first hour block is going to be this, planning, okay? So when you do this, I'm telling you, it's going to feel so good that everything is dumped and there's no thought as far as what you're supposed to be working on, right? And I do recommend if you do work full-time for yourself right now, and that's a big problem for a lot of us when we do work full-time for ourselves, people don't realize this. It's hard to stay organized and on point where you're actually doing things instead of just like, oh, I'll do a little bit here and then I'm going to go do this and do a little bit here and I'm going to do that. That can be very, very distracting. And it can also become, kind of like where you get to the point where you're like, I don't get anything done, right? And I've been there and I'm like, okay, I gotta plan this out better. I've got to really be intentional. And the one thing that I also suggest that you do, I do this on all of my weekly papers that I draw out and I map out, is I put on the top some reminders for me. All right. And this is just good because you're going to be looking at this notebook pretty much every day, right? So when I open it up, I have little things on the top that remind me of things that I want to be reminded about. So one of them is be grateful. Be grateful for today. Be grateful for one thing right now, top of your head. What are you grateful for? Think about that. While you're listening to this or watching this, think to yourself, what's one thing that you're grateful for? And it doesn't have to be big. It could be something very small. I am so grateful that I'm able to start an online business. I'm so grateful that I'm able to have an email list and communicate with people. I'm so grateful that I can get up and walk around because I have 2 legs that function, right? Whatever it is, think of something that you're grateful for. And I love this part of it because it reminds me every single day, okay? Now, the second thing, I had 3. The second one I'll usually put up there, and I mix them up. This one here is big, and it goes really well with what we're talking about here today. And that is be intentional. Be intentional. So let's be intentional with our time, right? We only have so much time, right? In a day, in our life. So why not be very, very intentional with what we're doing, right? So if I'm sitting down for an hour, I want to be intentional with that time. If I'm sitting down for an hour with my wife having a conversation, I want to be intentional to pay attention and be there and be present, right? And the crazy thing is when you do this, you also will realize you're taking everything that's in your brain that you're processing and thinking about and you're dumping it down. It frees you so you can be present because you're not worried about forgetting something, right? Because it's there and it's written out as far as what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. All right. So make sure that you do that. Now, the other thing is the third one that I usually will put in there, and it's, again, I always mix it up a little bit, but the other one is be giving. Be willing to give with nothing in return. There's so much power in that. Like, I'm doing a podcast episode right now for you, and there is nothing tied to this as far as you paying me for me to show up to do this for you. There is nothing, right? There's nothing for you. I'm not saying for you to go buy something of mine. And there isn't really anything that you can other than my playbook, which is $4.99, right? Right now, the academy is closed. That's it. If you went through one of my affiliate links for a ConvertKit or something, you could in turn, I guess, pay me, but you wouldn't be paying me. ConvertKit would be paying me, right? So how can you show up and just give, right? And there's just something that feels really good about that. And the reason why I'm saying this to you is because we always look at, okay, how do I get? But we don't think about these other aspects of our business or our life. So again, just a reminder for you guys, and also maybe you put something on the top of your page that means something to you that you want to be reminded of. All right. So for me, it's be grateful, be intentional, be giving. All right. Those are 3 that are on my list this week. All right, let's move on. So number 3 is we need to plan this out on paper. I think I already said 3, but I'm going to kind of go through it a little bit deeper here with you. So when we are planning this out, Monday is going to be this, Tuesday is going to be this. And if you only have 1 hour to work, well, you have 1 hour of work that you're going to be doing on that day. So yours is going to look different than mine. Mine is like the morning, right? So it's like, 8 o'clock is this, right? I'm going to check in with my Brand Creators Academy students, and I'm going to see if they need anything. That's going to happen for a half hour. Then I'm going to move on. On Mondays, I'm going to plan out my upcoming episodes for the week. I'm going to spend an hour there, right? And then I move on throughout the day. Tuesday might look like I'm going to check back in with my brand creators because I do that every single day. So that's there. Second thing is going to be start recording your podcast. So that day I might record 3 episodes, but I'm going to do 1, then I'm going to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to record another one, take a 10-minute break, record another one. So I batch a lot of times. That's, again, just an idea of how you would do this. But if you only have 1 hour, then it's even more important for you to be able to map it out and say, I got 7 days this week. That means I got 7 hours to put 100% focus on building my business in the right areas. So this way here, I get the most done and I don't feel stressed. And I feel like I'm really, really knocking this thing out of the park because I'm getting a whole bunch of stuff done, right? So that's really important. So let me just throw another little reminder in here, a little tip. And I had this as a bonus tip, but I kind of already gave it to you, but I'm going to say it again because it's that important. You want to make sure that you use 1 day a week to plan out this, okay? Get your day right now. What is the day that you can do this? I would prefer you to do it Sunday night. If you can't do it Sunday night, Monday morning. Okay. This way here, it's done, it's set. And when you sit down for the week, you know exactly what you're going to be working on. Now, number 2 tip, little bonus tip, is this right here. Never, and this, I never do this, never start by answering emails the first thing that you do in your day. So if your hour block for the first part of your hour, let's say all you have is an hour. Don't start the hour with answering emails because your whole hour will be consumed answering and replying to emails. What I would prefer you do is, what is a task that you can work on for a half hour, and then the other half you can work on answering emails. If you work from home or if you have more time, or let's say that you break your day up into mornings and nights, okay? Morning before you go to work, nights when you get home, all right? So the morning would be more of, let's get stuff done. Let's hammer out this project. Let's make sure that we create the content and publish it on our blog. We do all of that stuff. The nighttime would be answer emails. Right? You're always more creative in the morning. You always have more energy in the morning. The nighttime, not so much. So that's where we can do tasks that don't really require us to have a lot of energy other than just we want to reply and we want to give good replies and all that. So those are 2 tips for you. Make sure that you choose a day to do your planning, okay? Take an hour to do it. And then the second one is make sure that you don't start your day of work or your projects with answering emails. All right. I'm telling you, it will derail you. All right. So don't do that. So that's what I got for you. Let's do a little recap of the 3-step formula here so you can get a whole bunch done and feel less stress. All right. So number 1, take inventory of your tasks and projects and do that in a 1 hour block. and try to plan that every single day or every single week the same day. All right. Number 2, choose your big 3. What are the big 3 that are absolutely 100% going to get done no matter what? What are the big 3? And then the third thing in this 3-step formula is plan out your week on paper and when you're going to work on this stuff. So again, Monday, Tuesday, maybe you're only going to work on your business 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then put that on paper. What's going to fill those time slots? Fill it in. This way, when you sit down on Monday and you've got that 1 hour block, you know exactly what you're going to get done, and you get a whole bunch done in that allotted time. All right. So make sure that you do that. Now, if you guys want to hang out with me and have some coffee or tea or a juice, whatever you drink in the morning, I am showing up on Facebook and on YouTube every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you want to join me, you can just head over to theamazingseller.com/coffee. All right. And if you go there, it's going to take you to my Facebook page. And from there, you will see that I will be showing up there at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And once you do see that, you'll also have the option to get a notification, and then you'll be reminded. I have regulars that come in just like you would if you had your own coffee shop. I have my regulars, and I have a lot of fun with everyone, but I would love to have you come as well. Even if it's not every single day, definitely stop by. If you have any questions, that's a great place to find me, but also it's a way for you to get connected. And I have one guy that shows up every day because he's like, that's my allotted time that I get really focused. And it gives me that motivation to really get out there and just kick some serious butt. All right. So if that's you, definitely would love to see you there. theamazingseller.com/coffee. Now, if you want the show notes to this episode, the transcripts, you can head over to theamazingseller.com/818, and you'll find everything over there. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, remember, I'm here for you. I believe in you, and I am rooting for you. But you have to, come on, say it with me, say it loud, say it proud, take action. Have an awesome, amazing day, and I'll see you right back here on the next episode. Now go get them. Boom, boom, boom.